Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There is Changing My Mind from the Revolution Saints from their upcoming release Against the Winds. And coming out, it's February 9th on Frontiers Record. And with us today, we want to welcome back from the Revolution Saints, Jeff Pilson. Welcome back to the Revival, Jeff.
Well, thanks. Great to be back.
As always, it seems like, Jeff, personally, you're one of the busiest guys in rock. You got so many irons in the fire all the time. How did you get time to get this one done? I mean, you've got so much going on.
Well, you know, the beautiful thing about Revolution Saints is, unlike most of the other projects I'm involved in, I don't have to produce it. I'm just playing bass. So, which is really fun for me to have a project where I can just kind of kick back and just play bass. And, you know, I trust everybody, 100%. I trust not only Dean and Joel, but Alessandro Del Vecchio, who is the producer and principal songwriter in Revolution Saints. I trust everybody, so I can just go in there and play bass. So I fit it in because I can play bass, I can make that happen pretty much any time. So I do.
Nice. So how'd you guys go about picking out what songs you were going to use? I mean, the Del Vecchio, he must have like a room just stacked with songs because, how do you choose?
Well, I don't. In Revolution Saints, I believe that's pretty much Alessandro's job. I think Dean has something to do with it, but primarily it's Alessandro because he does write the stuff. Now, for the next record, we're talking about trying to get Joel and I involved more in the writing, and we're even talking about setting up in a room and playing, which would be wonderful because that's my favorite thing, when we can all play together. And that would be a rare occurrence these days, so I hope that happens. That would be really cool if the next record we're able to make that happen. But for these records, it's Alessandro deciding the material, and, like I say, I have total faith in him, so it's not a problem for me.
I don't blame you. Yeah, the one thing I love about Frontiers, they records, they put these great musicians together with great vocalists. I mean, Jerry and one of our favorite albums was Black Swan. We love both those Black Swan albums, and we love the Revolution Saints. But our thing is we can't see these bands live.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned Black Swan because actually Reb Beach is in the other room because he's here for the week, and we started writing the next Black Swan record. We're 3 songs in already, and he's only been here 2 days. So, as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm going to start working with Reb. So, very excited about Black Swan. As far as seeing the bands live, it's going to be tricky because of the logistics and because of the bands that everybody else is in, all these other bands too. So it's very tricky. But my schedule is going to open up a little bit in 2025 because this is the last year of Foreigner doing the 9 months of a year touring thing. So my schedule will open up, and hoping in 2025, maybe one of these projects, we'll see. Maybe one of these projects could do a little bit of live playing. We'll have to see. But again, the logistics are just so difficult on getting a band like these to play live.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I watched the Against the Winds video. That lighted box and those effects were pretty cool. Now, did you guys? I'm used to seeing you with a Fender Precision bass playing in Foreigner. Now, on this one, you got that purple bass. I couldn't even see what kind it was. Can you tell me about that bass?
Well, the purple bass would be my new 10-string, which is made by a guy named Keith Horn at Marvin Guitars, and it's something I'm very, very excited about. It's just a really cool, really, really cool bass. I saw a 10-string bass when we played with Led Zeppelin in 2007. John Paul Jones had a 10-string bass there and it just sounded incredible. And I said, I have to have one. And I started looking around, and I found a guy that made them in Europe. Actually, it was the partner of the guy that made John Paul Jones's. But that never came through. And then years later, I ended up talking with Keith at Marvin Guitars, who's also a friend. And I've mentioned this to him, and he goes, "Hey, I could build you one." So we started talking. We started talking the specs and made everything, and it just came out incredible. And I think I've got a one-of-a-kind, amazing instrument.
Yeah, so 10-string, that means you got tripled up a couple strings and doubled up a couple strings, or what?
No, I double up all the
and
if it were a 5-string.
Oh, okay.
If it were a okay. If it were a 5-string bass, they'd be doubled up.
Okay, awesome. Very cool.
You know, Jeff, one of the songs on this show for over the past 17 years that we've really fell in love with was a song called Beast in the Box.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to admit, over the years, I've become a huge fan of your vocals. I've always wondered, you ever thought about doing a solo release?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. You know, I don't... Well, it's a long story. I don't really consider myself a rock vocalist. I mean, I'm a rock vocalist in a sense, but I'm not like a heavy rock vocalist, I don't think. So for a lot of the projects I do, I can't see me singing, and it just doesn't seem like it'd be right. I do write my own music, though, and, you know, a lot of that I love to sing. So someday I might come out with a release, but I think if I did, it wouldn't be exactly what people think, knowing my musical history. So that's always a slippery slope, because if you deliver something that people aren't expecting, you know, it throws them. So I would love to do that someday, and I think about it. But again, it would be it wouldn't be me just doing a rock record like the records I do, because I think there's better singers for that kind of thing.
All right.
Nice. Now, when you were shooting the video for the first song, what was it? Changing
Against
the Winds. No,
yeah.
Against the one with the white box. How many times did you guys each have to shoot your part in that box?
How many times did we have to shoot
your each, because you each had your own turn in the box.
I don't remember. I mean, I think, you know, it was like any standard video. You do it a couple times for different angles and this and that. But I don't remember it being an overly tedious project.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were looked pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I was pretty excited when you just told us about another Black Swan album. Well, let me ask you about this new song I'm hearing from the End Machine. That is amazing. And are you going to be doing more of that, or are you going to do anything with George again?
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah, End Machine. Yeah, the single is out, Silent Winter. That's probably what you're referring to.
Yes, cool tune.
Thank you. And yeah, we're really excited about the band and the record. There's another single coming February 15th called Killer of the Night. And then March 8th, the record comes out. The record's called Quantum Phase. And just really, really excited about it. Our new singer, a guy by the name of Girish Pradhan, is just frigging amazing. That's all I can tell you. He's just amazing. Definitely. And we're really excited about the record. So please check it out. Again, it's going to be something pretty special.
Definitely. I dug it right off the bat, because it's got like a 1.5-minute intro of just George and some background music, and then it goes into the song, and it's like, whoa, nice. Cool. Yeah, I could tell. At first I thought it was Robert Mason singing, and he was just had found a different voice or something, but then there was that high scream, and I was like, oh. And then Red just told me it was someone else, and I'm like,
kind of
really?
Means business.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And, you know, listen, I hate the fact that, you know, some people seem to think that this reflects poorly on Robert. It does not. Robert is great, and Robert is still a friend, and, you know, everything's great with him. But we did have to try this, and I'm very, very pleased with the results. It just came out great. And a lot of it is Girish. His attitude was amazing. His writing is great. He took suggestion great, so I have nothing but the highest praises for Girish, and I'm just really excited about March 8th and this record coming out.
You know, Jeff, lately in the world of rock, I see so many artists doing autobiographies. Is there any interest on your end? I mean, because you've played on some huge stages with some big bands.
I'm sorry, say that. What
are you interested in doing an autobiography? I mean, because there's a lot of stories I bet you can tell.
I do have a lot of stories. I kind of look at it like, am I really well known enough to write a biography? I don't know. I mean, that kind of feels a little self-serving.
Okay.
I mean, if I were a lot more known, I would probably consider it. But I'm known in certain circles, but not enough to do a book. I don't think.
Okay.
If I have been thinking about it. I mean, I am actually working on a book, but it's a book about yoga. It's not.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
But I mean, someday the biography I would like to write though is I'd like to do something where the theme of the book is you have all the opportunities in the world and you blow it, and it would be the story about Dokken and how we kind of we had so many great opportunities, and we could have been a much bigger band, but due to egos and drugs and all that kind of stuff, I don't think we got to where we could have been. And that's a book I'd be interested in writing.
I always wondered, because I can remember going just from seeing you guys in the clubs to seeing you guys like at Monsters of Rock, and I'm like, why are they not one of the biggest bands in the world? And I never understood it, but I still, to this day, probably one of the bigger bands on the soundtrack of my life is Dokken. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I do think we could have been a bigger band had we been a little smarter about things. But like I say, egos, everything got in the way, and those are the problems.
I hear that. Now, Jeff, Spinal Tap is doing a second version of the movie.
What a segue.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with this, Jeff. Now, is there any moment in your career that they could probably use to put in Spinal Tap 2?
Oh yeah. Like the time that I was playing in Japan, and I used to like to run out to the sides by the PA. Well, what I didn't realize in this particular gig was that the wood that they were using as the plank that kind of went across to the PA was made of balsa wood. So I started running, and my leg went right through the friggin' balsa wood, and I just had these new kind of pleather pants made for the Under Lock and Key album cover.
Nice.
And they went through the floor of the balsa wood and just scraped up, and my roadie had to actually pull me out from there because I couldn't get out on my own. And then there I was, all bleeding with my leg and my pants all ripped up and everything. So that would have made a pretty good Spinal Tap moment.
Ouch! That doesn't sound fun, but that is pretty funny though. But all right, now coming back to Against the Winds album, do you think the song Can't End It Right Now could have benefited from adding some cowbell? I got 3 of them now.
Well, if you could add it, I think that'd be lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in rhythm or anything. Yeah. It'd have its own tempo. Yeah.
Why would you want to have rhythm on it?
Yeah, fluctuating tempo.
Well, and Jeff, being a fellow Wisconsinite, you know what cowbell means here. You know that's huge.
I do, and it has nothing to do with Blue Oyster Cult.
No, nothing to do with Blue Oyster Cult at all.
We knock stuff over.
So, hey, Jeff, so last but not least, if people want to keep up with what's going on with the End Machine, Black Swan, Revolution Saints, Foreigner, where's the best place to get the information on you?
Well, the real Jeff Pilson on Instagram. I forget my name on Twitter, but if you search, you can find me. And I have my Facebook Facebook fan page. So Jeff Pilson fan page. Come there. And you'll get all the info you need. Foreigner, you can go to foreigneronline.com to get info about Foreigner. And the other thing I suggest people to do is come to hotforyogascv.com and check out my virtual meditation class, because that's pretty cool. It's a half-hour meditation class that anybody could do, but it's been a great thing that I started during the pandemic, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm keeping it up. So come to hotforyogascv.com and sign up for that virtual meditation class.
That sounds cool. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Join us.
Well, Jeff, we always let the artist pick the song out of the interview. What would you like us to play?
Wow. So and this can span everything?
Could be anything out of your catalog, my man.
Oh, wow. You know what? you guys love the song "Beast in the Box" on the Lynch Pilson record.
Yes.
There's also a song on there called "Ever Higher," and I still that's George and I sort of look at that as a real pinnacle song for us. So check that one out.
Okay. Excellent. Jeff Pilson, you are always welcome back on Rock and Metal Revival.
Well, thank you, man. It's great to be here, and we are Wisconsinites. We have to hang.